All right, bear with me today, guys. I've had to take notes on this one because this is like, what's his name? Sherlock Holmes shit. All right? What is it? Why does America. It's just. I was blown out. I go, why is America willing to go to war with Venezuela for? Just for the oil? Seriously? Yeah, it is for the oil. And I'll tell you why. Now, here's the notes I took, all right? So bear with me on this. The Americans produce the most oil on the planet. They import approximately 6 million barrels and export 4 million barrels daily. All right, it's on a daily basis. So they make oil, right, and they sell that oil to others, and then they buy a different oil from others and use it instead. All right? Now, this is why Venezuela got invaded. This is why Nigeria is getting watched. This is why. Now, take into account, Greenland has got the potential for gas and oil, large gas and oil stocks, right? Plus their minerals, heavy on the minerals. But this is the big one. Oil comes in two types, light crude and heavy crude. Now, light crude is easy to refine. It's heated and it separates into different products such as petrol, diesel, and kerosene. Heavy crude, on the other hand, is thick and dense and high. Thick and dense. Oh, here we go. Heavy crude is thick, dense, and high in sulfur. Now, to refine this product is very hard and requires complex equipment with a lot of chemical processing. So a refinery built for heavy crude cannot refine light crude. Get that? And to make a refinery to do both or one or the other would cost billions of dollars. See where I'm getting at now? Now, mind you, all right, now, Texas oil fields were discovered in the early 1900s. And since this date, production has been in decline. In the 60s to the 80s, the Americans built massive refineries in the Gulf, which were designed to process heavy crude from Venezuela, because the American oil industry is in decline, right? Well, let's not get to that yet, right? So the Texas oil fields are more so light crude, right? They're light crude oil. Whereas Venezuela is heavy crude. So they made heavy crude refineries specifically for Venezuela and Mexico to produce the oil they needed. Venezuela has also got very large heavy crude deposits, 303 billion barrels worth, they're estimating. Now, all this equipment the Americans have designed is based for heavy crude. So that's what they've still got today, right? And it can't do their oil, right, which is light crude. Then what happened? We found fracking. Now, we've all heard this story. This has been a big one in America, right? Because old Trumpy, he's going through everything. He's going through national parks, everything to get into the fracking. Now, this opened up the Texas oil fields, which is far easier to refine. But the problem is, all their refineries are designed for heavy crude. See where we're going with this? But here lies our problem, and the infrastructure is built for heavy crude. So what happens is Texas is now exporting its light crude to other countries, which means it's short on oil. So Europe and Asia get the American light crude from Texas. And the heavy crude remains in America. Now, the Venezuelan oil comes in very cheaply. So does the Mexican. So the Americans don't want to lose that. See, we've got the same problem in Australia. American companies here pay next to no taxes. They pay next to no royalties. They just collect all our benefits. But we put up with it, so they might as well do it. So, the oil refineries, which are the most powerful in the oil structure, the refineries are the big dollar makers. And they're getting Venezuelan and Mexican oil very cheaply. So their profit margins are through the roof. And the biggest American one, which is I think number 3 on the planet, is Chevron. Now their primary owners are BlackRock, Vanguard and Berkshire Hathaway. Now you see where this is going? That's why they've got their eyes on. I've seen lately, they've even been talking about getting serious with Mexico. Because they want the oil, and they will do anything to get that cheap oil. Now, where did we see this, something similar to this happen before? I'll tell you where. 1939, Germany. Because everyone's too chicken shit to say to America, stop. You can't just invade a country because you feel like it. Like Germany did in World War II. Germany, 1939, went into Poland. Everyone was screaming, get out, get out. The Brits were screaming. The French were screaming, get out. You're not allowed to do that. But they did nothing. Exactly the same as what's happening today. Everyone's screaming at America. No one's doing nothing. They haven't got the balls. Now, only a year after, France and the Brits were screaming at the Germans for what they did in Poland, the Germans entered France. The German army marched in the shade of the French trees down that main street of France. I don't bloody know my French too much. The Isle de something. All right, I'd have to research it. But the German army marched through Paris in the shade of the trees. And it's going to happen again. Before we stop America from what it's doing, and its ally, don't forget its ally, it's a sneaky one because it stays in the shadow. We all know who I'm talking about. We all know who I'm talking about, the American ally. The main one. The rest, they mean shit. The French mean shit, the English mean shit, because the people cannot stand the government. So if shit went down badly, the United Kingdom and the French are in really deep shit. Most of the European nations, Eastern European nations that are under NATO, they mean shit because their politicians are completely out of touch with their people. Anyway, now we've talked about a good one today. This was interesting finding this out. All right, guys.